winners. Welcome back to the Winning Play Podcast. I'm Drew James, here with Kendall Capps and Rob Hugh. We're breaking down the Week 9 waiver wires. Which guys you need to look out for tonight when you put in your claims. It's a relatively thin week at waivers, but there are a couple guys that could turn out to be studs. Let's start with Cedric Tillman. Had an amazing first game with Jameis at QB and Amari Cooper gone. Is he going to keep up that production? He would be my waiver one claim for sure this week. What are you thinking, Kendall?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about him last week, and somehow he was still mostly unrostered in the majority of leagues. And there's little reason to think that he won't, at the very least, continue to get a large target share. The game script is going to be solid, as the Browns are still likely to be chasing a lot the rest of the season. And with Amari gone, you got to think that there's still upside there. So I'm with you. He has certainly wide receiver 3/flex upside rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on Cedric Tillman. Jameis, he raises the floor and ceiling on all of his receivers. And even if he throws the other team a couple times, we don't lose points for that, right? So I actually think Cedric Tillman and Elijah Moore, the underneath route receiver on that team, both get bumps and should both be looked at over here on waivers.
Well, there's a running back that I kind of like this week. We talked about him in the weekly segment. That was Jaleel McLaughlin, which I was really high on him coming into the year. Now, am I saying he's someone that you're going to pick up and start right now? No, but I think we've seen that Javonte Williams, his best days were pre-injury, and in a gold matchup, he couldn't perform. And we saw McLaughlin show some flashes, especially in the passing game. And as Denver's schedule starts to get a little bit more difficult, and they're likely going to find themselves trailing in more games than they have so far this season, I actually think in PPR leagues, McLaughlin late season might hold some value. So he's someone, if I need some RB help, could end up helping me down the stretch. So that's one guy I'm targeting.
Another running back I really like, if Jordan Mason stays injured, or if you're a Jordan Mason or CMC owner, you want to pick up Isaac Guerrero. I'm not sure if that's the correct pronunciation, but 18 for 85 or something with Mason out. So if Mason stays out, he's one I would definitely be looking to roster.
Well, yeah, and even if McCaffrey goes back, because they keep saying McCaffrey, he's going to start practicing soon. They got the bye week, and then he should be good to go. But if he's not good to go, and Mason's been hurt twice now in the last couple of weeks, so I'm with you. There's certainly some value there if you have that roster spot to add a guy like Guerrero.
Any other guys that should be making this list here?
Well, if he's out there available in leagues, you absolutely have to pick up Keon Coleman. I'm actually more excited about him than Cedric Tillman for the rest of season. So, but he's not available in too many competitive leagues, but he just popped off, and his future looks bright with the Bills.
There's one other name among the wide receiver ranks that I think is worth addressing, and it's mostly due to injury, so it's probably a 1-week fill-in. But Parker Washington in Jacksonville, Kirk is out for the rest of the season. Brian Thomas Jr., we still don't know if he's going to play this week. And if he doesn't, it's Evan Ingram and Parker Washington in a game that Jacksonville will likely be trailing quite a bit against the Eagles. So you got to figure he's going to get plenty of looks his way. That could be someone, if you're desperate at wide receiver, that could help your team this week.
Well, I would actually say it's not just Evan Ingram and Washington. There's another guy to look out for, their other tight end, Brenton Strange, who I had not heard of before this week, but I think he had something like 6 targets and 5 catches for 59. He's definitely a low-end tight end pickup, but if he keeps seeing 5 or 6 targets a week, he's definitely going to be at least a streaming option at tight end there.
Yeah.
Well, unless anybody has any objections, it's kind of a thin waiver week. Those are the guys I'd be really looking for. Yeah, you could also maybe do your research on Elijah Moore, Michael Wilson. But overall, I'd be aiming for the top guys this week and looking for guys that are hurt to kind of bolster your roster as we get closer to trade deadline here. But I think that'll do it for our Week 9 waivers. For Kendall Capps and Rob Hugh, I'm Drew James. Go out there and make some winning plays.